I do wonder why I'm green, like my icon is in green. Is there a specific reason? Hopefully I can mute myself. Well, let's see.
Olivia, hi Olivia, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Can I quickly try and see if I can share that video just before and you guys let me know so that to save you having to do it?
Yeah, sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
Let me know if you can see it. Can you see the video?
Yeah, we
Yes,
can,
I can see it from here.
but not audio.
Yes,
Okay.
there is no audio, yes.
Okay, one second. Where is this? Uh, let me stop that first. Okay. Where is this? Where's the share? Okay. So if I take that and then
Can I just use this space and ask Issa, uh, are you able to meet with the Germans on the 15th, Issa? That Tuesday afternoon?
Sorry?
Are you able to meet with the German diplomats on Tuesday? Oh, you're on
Tuesday is
mute.
next week, I think.
Yeah, this coming Tuesday, 15.
Yeah, it's okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
great.
yes.
Super, thanks.
for some reason it's not letting me computer sound. It's not letting me choose the sound.
Yeah, I had the same issue, but then you are able to hear. I think the webinar actually we started, so sorry everyone, like just bear with us. We are just fixing a couple of IT issues with the video. Bear with us. Thank you.
You may just have to go ahead and do it from your side.
Okay, Nicholas, I'll share the video. Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Oh, can you hear me? Yes. So do we start? So who is playing the video at the end after I finished?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, okay. So let us start. Good afternoon, everyone. Good afternoon, our supporters and volunteers from across the world. We thank you very much for taking your time to be with us today for this very important webinar, which aims to look at our report about the situation of girls and young women in Northeast Nigeria. By way of introduction, I would like to say that this report was launched on the 10th of June in Abuja, and it was widely shared across the world within Amnesty International and outside. And I have to point out that the reason why this report is very important and the reason why we feel that we have to do this follow-up and we have to engage you because you are a very important part of what the work we are doing across Africa and across the world, because we want you to also share with us the efforts to make sure that these girls get justice, these girls get the support they need. As you know, the report is about young girls and women who faced a lot of atrocities, first in the hands of Boko Haram and then um, uh, later in captivity of the Nigerian military. And at the end of the day, they ended up abandoned without support. And because of their gender, the atrocities they faced has a very significant impact on their health, and even their bodies are affected. So these are some of the things that we feel are very important and we have to raise. Right now, as we know, Maiduguri, the Borno state capital, where most of the victims or all of the victims are, was flooded last week, last month. Thousands of people who are displaced, and many people are still displaced. This tragedy, which is still going on, and we send our sympathies and our support to all those affected, is one of the things that will make us to prioritize what we are talking about, the condition of girls affected by Boko Haram atrocities and detention by the Nigerian military. And the reason why we want to again take you through this report and seek your support to amplify it and call for justice is because we believe that even though the Nigerian government has been making it look like, you know, the Boko Haram crisis is over, it has finished, there is no any problem, Boko Haram is over, we are rehabilitating people. But that is not true. It is not completely true, because the victims, without giving the victims justice, without making sure that all those the crisis affected are given the right attention, I don't think it is proper for the government or for anybody to say the conflict is over. Of course, the violent side of the conflict might have subsided, but all the issues of social justice must be addressed for us to make sure that we put this crisis behind us. So without taking much of your time, I would like to implore you to give us your attention for this period of time. And if you have questions, write them in the chat, and we'll definitely get back to you about it. And listen to us, and let us work together, support this cause. And as Amnesty International, our aim is nothing else apart from justice. We have no any interest, we have no any thing that we are looking for. So we hope you will join us to make this possible. I would like to now call on my colleague Livia to just show us a video which will give us, which was ease the ease of going into the discussion of the details of the report later. Thank you very much.
Livia, we have no sound.
Sorry, just bear with us. We tried before and actually was working. Sorry. Nicholas, do you want to try with your laptop?
I'm having the same problem whereby it's playing here, but it's not coming out. So it's for real, it's not giving me the option to choose the sound. Let me see. Let me just try and let me know if you can hear it. Is there any sound coming?
Can't hear any sound from here.
Okay.
Nick, I'm seeing in the chat that the sound is actually coming through for the participants, so it might just be us that are not hearing it.
Oh, okay. If the participant can hear, then let me just go ahead and play it.
Wait, maybe not for everybody. Have a look at the chat, please.
Okay. No sound in the video. Yes, the sound is coming through. No sound. I can't hear anything. Lord.
Shall I try
Anyway,
again?
yeah, just try again.
Okay.
If not, I'll just play mine.
Their kidnapping has shocked the world. Boko Haram opposes education and schooling for girls.
A string of escalating attacks by Boko Haram.
Were kidnapped by Boko Haram from a government secondary school in Nigeria.
Sun dauke da sun kai wani gari ana ce da shi Badawi. A can garin sun zo sun kai sun dai ba na son zama da su. Sun kwandi ya gona sare a gurma gana ne su kuma wanda uri sai ya kyaman da yara. Wani rana da sa'adi ya kuma suka na da gari ko. Na ce ni ba na son aure suka ce in ba zan yi aure su kashe ni. Bayan da aka shiga da mun je na ɗan kwana biyu suka ce to doka ta hau kanki dole sai miki aure. Na ce ni ba na son aure suka ce in ba zan yi aure su kashe ni. To sun gane akan cewa ni bin zan kuɗi sai sun zo sun ɗauke ni. Suna yi ma mata haka. Akwai wani abinci da suna kawo mana. Za kawo kaɗan haka za su zo su ba mu abinci. Ba sun kawo mana abinci ɗin kaɗan za su ba mu abinci da mu ci. Kin kasa da rana da aka yi nan yana aka yi kawo kintanin lara aka yi nan mana da adirin kudu da yi. Amma ƙasa da la isa ya zaki mai da kanki zaki yi musu duk yadda da zaki samu ki kudu ne. A hanya dai wajen kudu kana ta ganin gawaci. Mun magani in mun zo fita mun ga wancan gawaki din zai tsorata mu don kar mu sake mu fita. Shi ne sai suna barin gawaki. Lokacin da muna gurin sojoji suna ba mu kulawa amma kuma suna zagin mu. Saba mu abinci da za mu ci mu koshi haka ne. Wata rana su kawo mana wata rana su tara mana wankin su haka sai su kawo amma abinci ba suna ba mu abinci sai da zagi kan nan mata boko suna zagi ba haka shi. Ba haka suna ba mu abinci. Akan ta mace sai su ba a ba mu ɗakin a can ba sai muna zama ko karshen ganye ne da duk wanda ya fita daga jeji a can da muna zama muna kwana. Kana bukatan kai muka yi makarantar ma kamar yadda kana ganin wasu suna makaranta kana ga da iyayensu ana yi su makaranta kana ga rayuwarsu dai da naka kai akwai bambanci. Ya ina sa gyara mana kasar da kuma sauran kanun da suka rage a baya.
Over to you, Isa, Nikki.
Yes, thank you very much. We apologize for the hitches with the video, but it is on YouTube, and before the end, I will also share the link again so that you will be able to watch it. I will now hand over to my colleague Nikki, who will take us through some vital or important information about this report and what we can do to ensure change and justice for the victims. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Isa, and thank you everybody for taking the time to listen to us and showing your interest for this topic. It's really greatly appreciated. Like Isa said, my name is Nikki. I was the lead researcher of the report, which means that I spoke with over 80 survivors of Boko Haram captivity and of military abuses. All of the survivors that I spoke with were associated or were perceived to be associated with Boko Haram when they were still very young. So you'll hear us refer to girls or young women because for some they stayed within Boko Haram for so long that they were young women when they managed to escape. But we really decided with Amnesty Nigeria to work on this. Like Isa was already saying in the beginning, it's such an important topic because actually a lot of the attention currently in the northeast of Nigeria is paid to the Boko Haram fighters. And the girls and the young women still remain largely invisible. So this is why we chose to speak with them, to understand what they went through, and most importantly, to understand what they need and what they want for their lives. And it's very much the latter that we're building on. And we made a promise to them that we would make sure that their stories were heard. So I really, really value your time and your interest in this because you're helping us fulfill that promise. And Livia will be able to tell you later on how you can help act and make sure that the demands that these girls are making, that the requests that they're making are acted upon. But before we get there, let me share with you some of the findings. So, like I was saying, you know, an absolute enormous number of girls and young women have been abducted by Boko Haram at very, very early ages on. And this conflict is going back for over a decade. Many, once they were abducted, which was often very violent means, were then forced into marriage and actually trafficked into the group. Once they were in the group, they were then subjected to enslavement, all sorts of sexual violence, and even forced pregnancy. One of the girls that I spoke with, let's just call her HA because I don't want to expose her identity. She was abducted from her village and imprisoned with 5 other children. And she told me that she witnessed Boko Haram kill 2 of those girls that she was abducted with for refusing to marry the Boko Haram fighters. What she told me then was 2 amongst us disagreed. She said they were a bit older. They, Boko Haram, killed the 2 girls that disagreed. All were kneeling down. They just killed them immediately with a gun. With that, when we saw it, we all agreed. And this is just one of the testimonies that was shared with Amnesty International. Many others shared similar experiences, and they also told me that they were forced to live under incredibly strict rules, and any real or perceived breach of those rules would be met with physical punishment composed of floggings, of being imprisoned, often in very makeshift prisons. And these girls and young women were also forced to watch Boko Haram punish others. And those punishments often included beheadings, stonings, and floggings. And they were used as a way to control the girls and to also scare them into submission. So despite all of these horrors, the vast majority of the girls and young women that I spoke with were able to escape. This means that they braved death, essentially, to escape from Boko Haram, often walking days on end and not knowing where they were going, not, having just to live off the land, the rivers, drinking the water from the rivers. Some actually were forced to do this with the children that they gave birth to from the sexual violence. Some lost their babies along the way, others made it. But during this part, it also showed real strength and real courage, where girls would sometimes outsmart Boko Haram or convince them that they were just walking to the next village that was under Boko Haram's control, and they kept convincing the Boko Haram fighters until they actually managed to reach government territory. So incredible bravery that was shown. But then once they actually reached government-held territory, many, if not all of them, encountered soldiers and subsequently underwent a very opaque screening process. Whereas under international law, the screening process and the actors, in this case the soldiers doing it, should identify them as victims of forced marriage and trafficking. What's happening in reality is that largely the soldiers treat these survivors as Boko Haram wives. 31 of the survivors that I spoke with subsequently were unlawfully detained and suffered further abuse in prolonged and unlawful military detention just across Borno State and the north of Adamawa State. This practice has reduced in the last couple of years, but it was incredibly widespread in the early years of the conflict, and the historic injustices still remain. So once the girls return to government-held territory, the ones that were not unlawfully detained would overwhelmingly become invisible in the IDP camps, where some of them would experience stigma, and a few even were rejected by their families. Thankfully, this has also improved over the last couple of years, but it's still not at it is still a barrier to reintegration. And often when girls were held in unlawful detention, they had very unique experiences related to their age or their gender. For instance, they were detained with the babies or the children that they'd given birth to when they were in captivity. They also watched children die in detention, and some were actually subjected to insults by soldiers. For instance, one girl who was detained by the military in 2021 or 2022 told me that soldiers had asked her how she could go to the bush and get married to a man in the bush. And then that soldier had told her that he liked her and wants to marry her. So imagine just going through the horror of being abducted, being forced to marry, braving death to escape from Boko Haram, thinking you're in safe hands, perhaps by the military, and then being subjected to further harassment and further abuse. So these girls have really endured violation on top of violation on top of violation. So it's that compoundedness that is a huge struggle, and all of these violations are left unaddressed by the government as we speak. So these abuses that they have survived, and as well as the stigma that girls still do experience, gives rise to very distinct legal, health, and livelihood and educational needs. Because obviously everybody in Northeast Nigeria has been affected by the conflict in one way or the other, but girls who were associated or perceived to be associated with Boko Haram have a very particular set of needs. And all of them that I spoke with said that they lacked access to livelihood, lacked access to education, to justice, and to healthcare. So many of them have missed out on years of schooling, were told repeatedly by Boko Haram that Western education was forbidden, have been subjected to incredible traumatic events, years of sexual violence, yet have not had a physical medical check, have not had any access to counseling to help them deal with what they've seen. And in fact, in two incidents, in two cases, one, the girl had managed to escape from the Boko Haram husband. And then years later, when the Boko Haram husband returned and surrendered to the government, the husband took the girl to court. And the court actually ruled that she had to pay a fee to her husband. So she told me she was knitting caps to get a little bit of money, and each time she had made a little bit of money, she would have to go to the court and pay off the fees to her husband that the court had ordered. So there are real issues, and obviously when fighters return to Boko Haram held territory and they are not prosecuted by the government, it's very scary for these girls to all of a sudden see their captor again. And in fact, some were even reunited with their captor in in 3 transit centers in Maiduguri. So they're really not getting the support at all that they need. And in fact, many felt neglected by their government, who was supposed to take care of them. And that is where you come in, because overwhelmingly the girls told me most people in the government don't care about us and we need support. And they identified a number of priorities. Many said that they wanted to go back to school or have some other kind of education or education for their children. Some of them wanted to become nurses, others wanted to become doctors, some wanted to become lawyers or teachers. Mainly, some still had actually physical, medical issues that needed treatment, whether that was the result of the sexual violence or bullets that were still logged into ankles or burn marks across bodies. Most medical issues are unaddressed too, so they asked for help with medical needs as well. And then mostly they just wanted to become independent to take care of their families, independent to take care of their children, and independent to take care of themselves. And that is what we're here for, to see what we can do to make their voices heard and to make people responsible and in decision-making powers act on this. So without further ado, I will hand over back to Isa, who will take us further in the webinar. And thank you so very much for your attention and for being here with us today. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. Thank you, everyone, for your patience and your commitment, which I believe is the reason why you are here with us to consider these issues. As you know, Amnesty International is a human rights organization that is dedicated to change and dedicated to making sure that all forms of injustice are addressed effectively, so that we will have a world in which human rights are protected and respected and upheld in whatever situation. I know that many people will have some questions to ask. We will check the questions and then get back to answer them. I can see some questions already in there. So there are many ways in which you can help us to amplify the message of this report and the issues it raised. So I would now ask my colleague Livia to briefly tell us what you can do to also add your voice to amplify what the report is talking about. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Isa and Nikki. And thank you all for being here despite all the glitches and the short notice. So I'll be brief. I wanted to, add a bit more to what Isa and Nikki said in terms of what you can do. So together with the launch of the report in June, we actually launched a campaign called Empower Our Girls. It's linked to this investigation, and it's actually we decide to go for this name because we want to really break the cycle of invisibility and disempowerment that these girls and young women are experiencing. So when Nikki said, like, we spoke to them and they shared their sense of frustration, disempowerment, they feel abandoned and neglected and invisible. So that's why we thought, let's change that. And this is where you're going to play a key role as well. Just to give you a bit of background, when we launched the report and campaign, we decided to organize a solidarity action. So we ask everyone to share messages and photo that we are now actually sharing with these girls and young women in Borno State, for example, or in the affected communities, really to show them that they are not alone, and we are here for them and we are standing with them. So the next phase of the campaign actually will start on the 11th of October, so basically this Friday. This Friday we in fact launch an international petition targeting the president of Nigeria. So you might wonder why on the 11th of October. So some of you might already know that the 11th of October is the International Day of the Girl Child. So a day that it's important to raise awareness about the challenges girls face, and really empower these girls and help them fulfill the human rights. So I think we think that it's really fitting, especially considering that the theme of this year is about girls' future. And so the whole campaign is about empowering these girls, because as Nikki and Isa said, despite some family reunification effort, the government has largely failed to actually provide them the physical and psychological support and social reintegration that these girls and young women are demanding. As Nikki said, they are asking government support for especially healthcare, education, and livelihood support to be independent in the long run. So we will launch this petition. We will share it with you on the 11th of October. What you can do is definitely take action, sign this petition, and promote it as much as possible. So this is really, really important, because the more we are, the better it is in terms of raising their voice and standing together with these girls in their fight for their future. And then, of course, we'll be more than happy to work with you, listen to you, share ideas about how you can actually promote this action offline and online in the next few months. The plan is to have this petition live until March, at least next year. So there are quite a few months, and we can really organize different events, online, offline, if you like. And we are really keen to work with you, and really, at the end of the day, help these girls claim their future back. So I'll stop here, but yeah, feel free to share any initial ideas that you might have, and then of course you'll receive the link to the petition as soon as it goes live on Friday. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot. Over to you, Isa.
Thank you, Libya, and thank you, everyone, our supporters and volunteers and everyone online. We appreciate you and we appreciate your time. I have just scrolled through the chat window. I can see a lot of questions, and one of the questions was about whether we have an office in Maiduguri. Ambassador Mohammed Hassan, we don't have an office in Maiduguri, but we have volunteers. And if you are interested in joining them, we can give you, just write us an email after this. We will connect you to them. We have a community. They meet from time to time and do activities to support each other. Our office is in Abuja, but we appreciate the fact that you want to join our volunteers in Maiduguri. And there is a message also from Baba Gana, who is from Borno State. He says he's residing in Monguno. And he said that there are many IDPs in Monguno where he lives, and he wants to have a conversation. Okay, Baba Gana, you can also send us a message as well. We can talk and see how we can do. And we thank you, Umar Dahiru Minta. You have extensively talked about one of the very important things raised by this report, which is the mental health of these girls and people affected. And I can see you have explained what you have done and all the issues around the issue of mental health and PTSD. And we thank you for being part of the Amnesty family. Apart from that, there is a question. Some of these women involved in preventing extremism and building. Well, it's not their. This question is from Angela Ajedo Adebanjoko. It's not their responsibility to contribute to fighting extremism. This is the responsibility of government and other institutions. In terms of peace building, is also not their responsibility. We have to look at them for what they are, people who have gone through horrifying experiences that no human being should go through. And what we are seeking is not to drag them into anything, but to see how we can be able to make sure that they recover their lives, because Boko Haram will never end if these people are not fully reintegrated and rehabilitated and taken care of. We have this message from Maimuna, who is saying that I'm presently living in Maiduguri and I appreciate what you are doing. My point is that still 30% of the girls are not in school, and government is only building mega schools in the state, and teachers in the state are on less salary. Yeah, this is very important. Maimuna, thank you for your message. We have also raised this issue about education, and as Nikki has said, some of these girls have aspirations and ambitions. Some want to be lawyers, some want to be doctors, some want to be teachers, some want to be nurses. And we believe that we all have a duty to help them realize their dreams. And this is one of the reasons why Amnesty International is here and is standing up for all of them. So I think that is all. I now hand over back to Libya. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Isa. As I said, like I can see in the chat lots of lots of people trying to say and ask actually where they can volunteer. So if you are happy, it would be great if you can share the email in the chat with the host and panelists so that we can reach out to you later on and share any ideas and discuss with you what can be done. So it's really like try to adjust and reassess as we move forward with this campaign. Of course, it's a sort of a marathon. It's difficult to have an impact straight away, but of course, the more we are, the better it is, the more vocal we can be. And also, thinking about these girls and young women, it's important, as Nikki said, one of the promise that we made to them is to share their stories and show them they are not alone. So again, if you feel like you want to, in addition to sign the petition, do more, please feel free to send us photos of you with some messages in support of these girls and young women, or promote as much as possible the petition that we will share with you on the 11th of October. Again, you'll receive later on further emails with different action that you could do, and it's really, at the end of the day, what we would love to see is for you to become really champions of these girls' rights in Northeast Nigeria. So there are many different ways of go about it, and it would be lovely and amazing if we can, discuss and see with you what make more sense. So yeah, please share your availability if you like, any ideas, and again, your email so that we can get in touch with you later on. Thank you. Thanks once again.
Livia, can I go ahead? I think there are some questions that I jotted down that I'd like to respond to, if that's okay. Yeah, wonderful, thanks. First of all, it's really heartening to see so many of you express support and ask to volunteer and how to engage. So thank you so much. I am still in touch with the girls, so I will communicate that back to them. We do our best to report back, also to keep them updated about the campaigns and the advocacy that we do. One of the questions that was asked was whether there was any form of rehabilitation offered by the government, or whether these girls were just returned and integrated back into the society. So to answer that, there is one center called the Burumkutu Interim Care Center that's in Maiduguri, which is run by the State Ministry of Women Affairs with support from UNICEF and various donors. That is the center that has the best services available to girls and young women who were associated with Boko Haram. However, it can only cater to a very limited amount of survivors, right? And the scale is huge. To answer one question also, how many girls are still in the hands of Boko Haram? We don't know. What we do know is that in March of this year, another 300, or at least hundreds were abducted again. So this is still going on. So we don't know for sure how many, we just know it's still happening. But to go back to Bulumkutu, the way that girls overwhelmingly access this center is through unlawful detention in Maiduguri, in Giwa Barracks. I think that name will be familiar to many of you. So it means first you're held captive by Boko Haram, then you're unlawfully detained by the military, and then you can get access. But for the ones that don't go through Giwa Barracks, who should never have been in Giwa Barracks in the first place, the ones that are in the garrison towns, or they tend to just go straight into IDP camps. And even if in garrison towns outside, Maiduguri, girls are unlawfully detained, after that detention, they don't have access to a center like this. So any form of rehabilitation, it's there in Bulumkutu. The girls get some level of access to education, some level of healthcare, some level of family reunification, but it is very limited in terms of scale. So most are returned to society and left to fend for themselves. Then there was another question about what has Amnesty done to help the people in Northeast Nigeria, and how have we influenced the international community? I mean, since the start of the conflict, so for over a decade, Amnesty has done a lot in terms of documenting crimes under international law, war crimes, crimes against humanity, human rights violations. We've got if you go to our website, you'll find a series of reports. There is a big report that's fully dedicated on atrocities by Boko Haram, equally on violations by the Nigerian military. We've looked at how the conflict has impacted older persons. We've looked at how the conflict has impacted women specifically, and also children. And there was a question about schools as well, and some comments about schools. There's a lot of information that we have in that report that was issued in 2020, how this conflict has also impacted the education system. And there's a lot of recommendations in there for the government. So each time that we issued a report like this, there were actions to share these findings with the government, to engage the UN, to engage with actors that are in decision-making powers, and in some cases there has been positive change. Not all the time, because we are also dependent on people in decision-making powers who are willing to make change, and that willingness is sometimes simply not there. But we do continue to push, and I like to say we continue to push that needle. As long as we keep pushing that needle little bit by little bit, we should be able to get somewhere someday. And we've done a lot of a lot of advocacy also with the International Criminal Court, specifically the Office of the Prosecutor. You know, they have done a preliminary examination into the situation in northeast Nigeria, and they have still not acted. So they concluded that they had enough evidence to actually start a formal investigation, yet they have not yet sought, the Office of the Prosecutor currently has not yet sought the judicial authority to actually start an investigation. So this is also something in December, when all the state parties to the Rome Statute will meet. We will again start our advocacy. We'll start knocking on doors so that we get more avenues opened for justice in for the all survivors in northeast Nigeria. So we don't establish these rehabilitation centers ourselves because we're primarily a research campaigning advocacy organization, but we do that advocacy so that hopefully one day they will be there. Zahara, sorry if I mispronounced your name, asked, will the federal government do anything, because they always turn a blind eye. I think what we can do, what's within our power and within your circle of influence, your power is to make sure that we cannot be ignored, so that we're always there in the corridors, on social media, making noise, making these issues known at multiple fora. For instance, we did a statement at the African Commission. We are asking the African Commission on children to actually visit Nigeria. We are engaging at the UN Security Council level. We're engaging at the Human Rights Council level, so that the government also hears it from other actors than just Amnesty International. And in fact, the military did respond to us, and we are still seeking a meeting with them also. So that is a very you know, there is a small door open. Issa has some other plans at the national level, how we can continue engaging the government and continue pushing these messages. So that is our way to to make sure that these atrocities committed by Boko Haram, but also by the Nigerian military, are in the end addressed. We are doing what we can, and we greatly appreciate your support in that. Thanks so much. I hope I've answered the questions. If someone has been unanswered, please copy paste it again. Thank you.
Thank you, Nikki. And I can see a lot of engagement in the chat, which is very good. People showing a lot of interest about how to get involved, and so there are links posted in the chat where you can get more information on a lot of things, like joining and where to get the video that we tried to show you, and many other information. And we are always open, and we are always ready to answer your questions. We will provide our email address through which you can reach us whenever you have any question, or you want some answer to some issues regarding the report. And I would like to also announce that we also have a Hausa version of the report, abridged Hausa version. We are going to print it, and if anybody is interested in printed copy or e-copy, please share your contacts. We will also share them. And all those who are available in Maiduguri, when we come to Maiduguri to present the Hausa version, we will definitely engage you and have conversations so that we can look at how we can continue to work together. Thank you very much.
Isa, can I just jump in?
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I saw Gloria, I think, someone else asking for a recap of possible actions. So of course that's great to have all these interests. So as I said, this Friday we are going to launch an international petition. So you will receive a link, And the first thing you can do is to join and take action, add your signatures. That's the first thing. So sign the petition. Second, promote the petition. So tell your friends, family, relatives about what's going on, about these girls and young women, and tell them that they can do something. They can start by signing this petition and promote it as well. So the more, again, the better. Then, of course, I ask if anyone is keen to be a volunteer. I can see there is lots of interest. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. So if you like, please share your email. I can see Fatima has shared also some links about how to become a member. Think about, we are really open to any ideas you might have in terms of how we can empower these girls and young women. So feel free to share your ideas as well via email once we get in touch with you. And yeah, later on you will receive further emails with, actions you can take. So one of the ideas we are thinking about is to put together a sort of a toolkit. So a couple of pages where we suggest the different actions that can be organized offline or online. So again, this is up to all of us, you and us, to come up with more ideas for these girls and see how we can reach a wider audience. So once again, sign the petition, promote it, and as much as possible, use the hashtag Empower Our Girls. So that's the name of the campaign. So it would be great if on social media, everything that you post in relation to this report and campaign, you just use this hashtag as well. So yeah, let me know if something is not clear. I'll be more than happy to go into more details. Thank you.
Thank you, Libya. I can see a lot of questions and a lot of interest in joining us and volunteering. And we have provided the email on which you contact us. And particularly those based in Maiduguri, we really need you more, especially about this report. So at the end of this, we are going to look out for those in Maiduguri, and we'll set up, even if it's a virtual meeting, so that when we are in Maiduguri, we will look for you and engage you so that we can continue to work together to make sure that we support these girls and we make sure that they get justice. There is one question here saying that I have raised the issue of ID in many forums so long a time, no one is saying anything to my question. So somebody is raising the issue of ID card for volunteers. So this is an issue that we have been discussing for so many years. Very sorry, it seems like a digression from what we are talking about, but we have been discussing because we have a problem, as you know, in Nigeria, whereby in the past, some people try to take advantage of our ID card, maybe forging it, the ID card we give either to volunteers or something like that. So we are trying up to now. It's not as if we are ignoring, but we are trying up to now to see how we can roll out a safe way of giving people ID cards and making sure that those ID cards are used appropriately and we are also developing a code of conduct for volunteers and members. I'm sure when that is completed, we are going to address that issue. Yes, so Maimuna, again about schools, definitely the issue of education for these girls is something that we are also working on, and maybe when we complete the effort we are making, when it materializes, we are going to make sure that we announce that this is what we have done. But in terms of education, definitely is a priority. And if you look at the report, we have mentioned, even from the first paragraph, there was a mention of the issue of education for these girls. So yes, so the remaining are just comments, and we thank you for appreciating us, and we appreciate you too. And if there is no any comment, I will ask my colleagues to give us closing remarks, and then we say goodbye. Thank you very much.
Mine is just to say thank you to everybody. I think our team will collect all of the emails that you've shared, all of your support that will be noted. Any question that's left unanswered, we'll be able to find a way to get that answer to you. Yeah, please join. Please tell your friends to join, your family members, spread the word. And ultimately, the more that we are, the stronger that we are. So thank you so much for your time, and thank you so much for your attention. Please know that we really do appreciate it, and I will communicate that back to the girls. That is my promise to you. Much like I promised it to them, I will promise this to you as well. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Nikki. Olivia, you have anything to add?
Thank you. Yeah, just to reiterate, it's amazing to see all your interest and support. So once again, let's empower our girls together. Let's join this campaign, sign the petition, promote it, and work for this and with these girls and young women. Thank you so much. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Libya. So thank you, my colleagues, and thank you, our supporters and volunteers. We have now come to the end, and we will definitely reach out to you. And please do not forget to take online action. It's very important. We are in the digital age, so online action is very important. Do not forget to take an action. On behalf of my colleagues, Nikki, Libya, Fatima, and Nicholas, we really thank you very much, and we appreciate you, and definitely will take our time to reach out to each one of you that has a question or want to be included in our volunteers or supporters list. Definitely you will hear from us by next week. I promise you, and thank you so much, and we hope to see you again and again whenever we have this kind of engagement. Have a wonderful day. Thank you very much. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, Isa. Thank you, everybody. Bye.
Thanks. Bye. Bye-bye.